Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has not managed to push back above the 42.7k level. Made an update yesterday after it broke to the downside. And yeah, I'm still waiting for a retest. I think the retest might have just happened. We take a look at the chart. This move down has obviously pushed a lot of the altcoins down as well. And it's actually pushed the altcoins down to some of the target levels that I gave you in the last few days. For example, Cardano, $1. If you remember that Cardano video where I told you that, yeah, the $1 level, I still wait for a retest of the $1. Now that is reached, but I'll update you individually in the Cardano video. Solana, we talked about the $109 level, the 50% retracement that was reached here overnight as well. And I will need to look at the other individual coins as well, and I will update, of course, in the individual altcoin videos. So that's all looking good. That's all going according to plan. The question now is just, are these altcoins holding and are we going back up? And Cardano and Bitcoin, of course, still has a chance to go up from here because we have seen to the upside also that slight exaggeration above 45.8k before it then came down. So let's take a look at that here in a little bit more detail. We are still really close to that resistance level, yeah, the 42.7k. So I'm hesitant in just to yeah, tell you we now broke it, we're gonna go down. Because again, to the upside, we've seen that exaggeration as well. Told you here couple of weeks ago that if we break above 45.8, the price should have much more space now to the upside because we broke above that W wave that typically would have suggested that we move higher. And that is still possible. But for that, of course, the price needs to go above the 45.7k again, which in the current scenario, strictly by applying the Elliott Wave rules in that format is not possible. So we would need to get a different wave pattern evolve or something. It might take a bit longer. But the immediate uptrend in that scenario that I showed you is probably invalidated in that 5-wave move, which would suggest that from here in that C wave, we could have seen here something like a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the wave 4 came down too much. Looking at what is Bitcoin doing here. So Bitcoin obviously closed the daily candle. Below this here, you can see it in red, this 42.7k level, a very relevant level, as I just showed you, because this level, as we broke below it, it basically invalidates that immediate uptrend. Now, we did get down, told you in the last video, we can get down likely wise to the 41.8, 41.9. Didn't quite reach it. Yeah, but this is the 50-day moving average. Maybe we'll come down once more, but we came very close. I think the price turned around to perform a retest of that 42.7k level. You can see we came all the way up to that level to 42.657. Yeah, so retested basically previous support as resistance. And this is now, I think, where a lot of the drama is going to play out. So are we going to be able to push higher? At the moment, we don't have the volume. And also the momentum indicators would suggest we are continuing to move further down. Here you can see it on the 4-hour chart. That 4-hour candle closed below the level, that as well. And here in that 4-hour candle, we are performing the retest. Might see more detail on the 1-hour chart. And there you go. So we came down, turned around. And now we see already the first red candle pushing down again. And this is now the point where I would say, right, if you've got that initial low, you're coming higher, and here it's now going to be decided, because for me, what I would now want to see in terms of this downside scenario that we are retesting and go down, I think from the point on where we break below this rejection point here at 42.1k, where we turned around, this is the important level. If we drop below that now, yeah, because this is the previous swing low. If you lose it, in my opinion, that retest is valid. Until then, yeah, I'm not sure, and I don't think it's that would just be another confirmation that we're going to go down further, because we performed the retest, that then looks like it was successful, and we need to then break below the previous rejection point. Technically, if you stay above that previous rejection point, we can still fairly easily find support here again and move up higher. And that rejection point is at 42.1k. Yeah, a little bit higher, 42.131. Good. But as you know, there are always slight differences between different exchanges, so need to be a bit need to consider that as well. But overall, yeah, that bear flag broke eventually to the downside. We broke below that support, and for now, as we are below it, the probabilities increase, obviously, that we go down further, but it all decides now, probably today in this retest here. Yeah. Looking at the RSI, you can see that we already, on the hourly here, again, pushing higher. Now, that could just be a little bit of a 1 hour fake out, that same that happened here. And if we take a look at the price, you can see we made a bullish crossover here. Now, that was just a fake out to the upside, and we were then coming down further. And again, here we're just retesting. And if the price is now being, well, that line is now retested successfully as a resistance, then we're going to come down. We don't really need additional selling volume because it would help with the decision, but we are in a downtrend, so you don't really need that additional volume necessarily. So here the 1 hour could be turning around, but again, let's take a look at the 4 hour. Yeah, I think we are, obviously we stopped that bullish crossover here as well. We had here that reduction of the negative momentum, and we spoke about that this could, if it translates over to the 8 hour, to the daily chart, that can lead to a turnaround of Bitcoin. That would be the last chance that Bitcoin has up here to turn around. But of course, as you can see, it failed. So we broke below that level. And there you can see how this sometimes plays out on the lower time frames. And if it does not translate over onto the longer time frames, because here on the 8 hour, you're still in pretty much a negative momentum. It hasn't really reduced that negative momentum, so that is still pretty much at play. And here on the daily, yeah, you can see the MACD is still pushing down very hard. So RSI also pushing down. Someone said in the comments that the RSI is holding momentum. In my opinion, it doesn't. You know, the RSI is making here lower lows, lower highs. It's even pushed below the 50 level. And even here on that momentum indicator, the ADX and DI, we had a short signal. So all of that for me currently confirms that we are, for now, going further down. This can change. Of course, it will change if we go back above 42.7. And that would then be, again, quite a bullish signal. And then we could count all of this here currently just as a fake out. So these important levels, like the 42.7K level, they are meaningful in the sense that we need to stay below it for a moment. We need to establish ourselves in this region until we have a successful retest. This is not confirmed, yeah. And even if this scenario here has been invalidated, this immediate 5-wave move to the upside that I just showed you, there could probably be another scenario where we count this as a wave 1-2, another 1-2, yeah, and then you would start from here. So another count would be possible, but we also need to always understand the higher level picture, I would say, and the break of that 42.7K level is it's just an important signal. Equally important is not to forget about the 50-day moving average, which is providing support here, the same way that the 200-day moving average is providing resistance here. I think the worst thing that could happen, honestly, would be, and I think a lot of people just want some movement because it helps the progress in the chart. I mean, these movements that we saw here in this channel, they have been draining, they have been long, they have been boring. They have not really led to any progress in the chart, and that is what frustrates a lot of people. The worst thing that could happen is now if we see the price bounce for a while between the 200-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. I really sincerely hope that doesn't happen, and then we might get another triangle or something and an even more complex correction. So I sincerely hope we see a decision here at the 50-day moving average, or even if we break up to the upside once more, that we will finally be able to break the 200-day moving average. So here, first decision has been made to the downside, but it's not over yet. The bulls and the bears, in my opinion, are still fighting. We need to see that retest being successful and the price to move below the previous rejection point. Until then, we could still fairly easily go back above that 42.7K level. Yeah, and that is my view about Bitcoin. You know, my view that eventually in both of these scenarios, so either if we go up first in this region here, between 55 and 65K, that we then come down once more, or we go down straight away. I still have that here on the chart, and that will remain my view until really something significant changes in the charts. We would need to see here a first impulse to the upside. At the moment, I can't see it yet. It all still looks very corrective. Therefore, my view has to remain that we are currently still in a correction and we are coming down from here eventually and will fulfill this expanded flat pattern for Bitcoin. All right, that's my view on Bitcoin. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.